What's good, YouTube? My name is Matt Ward, the creator of BeliefTrack. Thank you for clicking to learn a little bit more about why BeliefTrack exists and what its goals are. BeliefTrack was born out of a really deep desire to just genuinely understand what do we believe and why do we believe it. We hear that all the time, at least I hear it all the time, like know what you believe and why, but what is there to even believe? I know for me growing up, I didn't even know that there was a difference of perspective on a lot of the different things that I believed. As I grew up and matured, I started to understand, wow, such and such person who I believe to be a faithful Christian has a different idea of this particular belief than I do. And this is just what I've always been taught. So that's an opportunity for me at that time to dig in, to really understand why I believe what I believe. Ultimately, it comes down to not knowing what you don't know, right? So within Christianity, there's a lot of people who've never read the whole Bible. There's a lot of people who maybe have just only been going to church. Maybe they've just not really had a huge interest in theology. And I want people to be really sure about what they believe and why they believe it. I think that's a healthy thing. I think it's a great thing for people who profess to be Christians, have a solid reason for what they believe, right? If we're out witnessing to people and trying to draw people to Christ and we start getting some questions, but we've never really thought through some of our beliefs, we may not even feel that confidence to go out and preach the gospel. We may not have the confidence to go out and really share some of our beliefs because we know deep down we've never really even thought about them. And BeliefTrack is a really simple site to be able to just go through a list of right now over 290 questions, which is going to be growing over time, and it'll present you with questions, some from different Christian denominations, and you may have never even heard of some of these topics before. But one of the things for those types of questions, as well as some of the basic fundamental things of Christianity, is it should prompt you to really think through what you believe. Do I strongly agree? Do I agree? Do I have a particular reason that I like to write into the notes? Or am I neutral or even unsure about the situation and I want to come back to it later and really dig in so that I'm no longer unsure and I can move to a proper, positive or negative stance on that particular issue. One of the reasons that BeliefTrack was created was to better understand the beliefs of the people who are teaching us. So for me, whenever I see a YouTube video of some pastor online and they're preaching about a particular topic, or just a book off the shelf in your Christian bookstore or whatever the case may be, you read it, but what are some of the underlying theological beliefs that those people, what do they hold to that might be shaping some of their answers? Whether we're talking about eschatology, so the end times, if I'm talking to somebody who has a premillennial view versus an amillennial view, that's going to greatly shift how they're going to answer some of my end times questions. And so BeliefTrack is designed to kind of help with that, to kind of put into frame where those answers are coming from. So in the discussion sections on our site, it's a really beneficial feature to use when you're having a discussion with somebody. You can select somebody's profile, you can compare some of their beliefs with yours, and you have a much better understanding of who you're talking to or who you're learning from in that particular conversation. And in that way, it just helps with the big problem that I do see, which is just people taking a lot of things at face value. So people are telling them a particular theological belief. It is somebody that they respect and trust, or maybe it's just somebody off of the internet, and they said it, makes sense to me, so I'm gonna believe it. And that's just a big problem that I've seen that people tend to do because we just don't have access to the type of information that BeliefTrack provides. So I believe it's a really healthy thing for us as Christians to question our own beliefs in a healthy way and to really think through what we believe. Even when we're talking about basic, Trinitarian doctrines, really think through those things. That's a very healthy thing for us to do to really fully, grasp that particular belief, to really be able to understand it, to be able to articulate it, to be able to understand what is and isn't, within Christendom. Because with that, there's a lot of beliefs that people do hold that, many would consider not to be essential to your salvation. And that's why we have that checkbox on all of our belief questions for whether you consider something essential to your salvation or not, because that's something that people can disagree with. One of our other goals with BeliefTrack moving forward is for churches to actually utilize this tool. We do have church profiles, and by leveraging the core beliefs for BeliefTrack, churches can really better understand their congregation, what they believe. Is there a need to have a particular sermon on this section, right? So if we have a question on the Trinity, which there's several of them, and we have a lot of people in the congregation that are marking unsure for this, then that's a really good indicator for that pastor to then go really in depth on the Trinity, because I think there's a lot of things that I've seen and as I've learned that people take for granted. We just hear things and we don't even think about it at all. And so that's just one thing that we'd like to see in churches and have them incorporate that moving forward to just build stronger congregations, people who actually know what they believe, and then they can just be more effective Christians. Lastly, the goal moving forward for BeliefTrack is to make this widespread, is to make talking about our beliefs as Christians more normal, because right now it's a little bit more hesitant. Even if you're in a Bible study, if you're at church, you might be a little bit hesitant to bring up a particular belief because you're unsure how somebody else is going to react if you say this or if you say that. And I personally don't believe that that's a healthy thing. I think we should be talking, we should be discussing our different beliefs that we have. We should be honest about what we're unsure about. We should be forthcoming with people when we're teaching them, hey, this is what I believe about this particular area. Here's some other beliefs out there that maybe you want to look into, but this is what I've settled on. Things like that, things that are less hostile to the conversation, where right now in a lot of different Christian cultures, there's a divide. Either you believe exactly what I believe or you're not a Christian. And I don't think that that's healthy. And BeliefTrack's goal is to help show us that throughout church history, throughout different denominations, throughout our church and our local congregation even, there is a variance of different beliefs that people have, and that should show us that we can unite across these different tertiary or even fourth level issues that are not really all that important to our day-to-day life as Christians, and we can talk about these things. And through that example, we will be raising up another generation of Christians who will truly understand what they believe and why they believe it. And that's the end goal for BeliefTrack, is to create strong Christians who can go out and actually accomplish the Great Commission because they know what they believe and they know why they believe it. As I finish the video off now, if you haven't checked out BeliefTrack, remember it is free. It's not difficult to sign up. So go check it out, share it with your friends, your family, people in your church. Right now, we're still, offering the church feature for free to people. So go ahead and just share that with your pastors. With all that being said, remember BeliefTrack is free, and so you don't have to actually pay anything. We do have donations, and we have some features, like some small features that will become available if you do become a donor or if you do become a premium user. But the site itself is free, so I don't want that to scare anybody off. We want to keep that free for all time. So thank y'all so much for watching. I hope to see y'all in the discussions on BeliefTrack. And remember, God is good.